Today, I'm going to tell you why the OP-1 is perfect for me. Freebeat. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, let's get started. As a traditional acoustic drummer of more than 20 years, the way that I am most familiar with making music is by recording with a band. Now, if you are not as familiar with that process as I am, let me describe it to you real quick. So the main goal is to spend as little time in the studio as possible because studio time is really expensive. So most of the songwriting process happens in your rehearsal space, whether that be by yourself or with your bandmates. That's where the guitarist is going to play with their guitars and amps and pedals and dial in the perfect sounds that inspire them. That's where the bassist is going to do the same thing. That's where the keyboard player might start playing around with different patches and sequencing those in ways that inspire them and mesh with what the rest of the band is doing. That's where I, the drummer, will arrange my kit to really correspond to what the rest of the band is playing. Maybe I'll look for new samples to put on my Roland sampler. Maybe I'll bust out a drum machine and try to sequence a drum part that then I can change up or play over live with real drums. That's where the sound design process starts. Once everybody's got the sounds that inspire them, that's where the songwriting really begins. Whether a song comes from a riff or a jam session or just an idea is really up to the band, but those are the really common ones. And before long, you've got a song starting to form. At that point, each of the band members not only rehearses together, but should practice on their own to dial those parts in perfectly. You want to be able to play your part in your sleep. Again, we're trying to keep the studio time at a minimum. So once you've all got your parts down perfectly, then and only then do you book some studio time, go into the studio, bring all your gear with you, your guitars, your pedals, your amps, your basses, your keyboards, your keyboard amps, your headphones, your sequencers, your drums, your drum machines, anything you might want to make music with, you bring into the studio with you. Then you record your parts and the song is on its way. The reason I'm telling you this is because, in my opinion, the OP-1 emulates this process better than any device I have ever used. And it's really because the OP-1 separates the songwriting process into the 3 steps that I'm familiar with because of working with bands. When we're in our synth or our drum engines, we're working on the sound design process. Once the sound design process is over, we then move into the process of writing our parts. This happens in the OP-1's many sequencers. It's in the sound design and the songwriting process, aka the synth drum engines and the sequencer, that the real majority of your work on the OP-1 is going to take place. This is the same thing as rehearsing a part over and over and over again on a traditional instrument, and it is very crucial to the songwriting process. Once we're happy with the part that we've came up with, only then do we move to the studio to record it. Now, the beauty of the OP-1 is that the studio is always with us. The sequencers, drum, and synth engines represent all that different gear I was talking about, our entire sound palette that we have to work with. Once we have a sequence or a part that we are happy with, and that we've either rehearsed by playing it live or rehearsed it to the point of perfection, aka sequencing it, only then do we go to the studio to record it. On the OP-1, going to the studio is as easy as pressing the tape button. Now that we're here, we can simply record the part that we've just been rehearsing. Now, admittedly, that sounds like chaos, and I probably could have used a better example, but you get the idea. So up until this point, we've almost directly emulated those three processes, and the OP-1 has successfully separated sound design, song recording. And like I've mentioned, personally, that workflow is just perfection for me. That's what I've been looking for in a device, the separation of those three elements. Until I got the OP-1, every device that I owned combined all of those elements together, which clearly works for a lot of people, but not really for me. But now it's time to talk about my favorite part of the OP-1. As easy as it is to go to the studio by pushing the tape button, you can leave the studio just as easily, just by pushing the synth or the drum engine buttons, and you can take as many trips to and from the studio, basically, as you need. So not only do you get the, what in my opinion is a benefit of having the sound design process come before the sequencing or recording process, but you get to go back and forth between your instruments and the studio as many times as you'd like. And that is a very powerful thing to hold in the freaking palm of your hand. Like, are you kidding me? This thing is insane. And yes, believe it or not, I've already had someone accuse me of being a YouTuber that is just trying to sell OP-1s. That is not the case. I truly love this thing. It has changed how I get to work on music from home, from my home studio. I have already written 3 songs on this thing, and I've only owned it for, I think, 10 days now. So to be able to write that much music when I'm still cranking out daily videos is just a true blessing to me, and I owe it all to the little OP-1. So yeah, that's why the OP-1 is perfect to me. Maybe I've given you a new way of looking at the workflow on here, because I feel that a lot of people take the features and pluses and advantages of the OP-1 and look at them as disadvantages or downsides. So again, this is all just my opinion, but yeah, I am ready to say that the OP-1 is perfect for me, and I absolutely love it. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.